GMGM, welcome back to the channel. In this one, we're doing a market update with a bit of alpha in here as well. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you do subscribe to the channel, but we'll just hop straight on in. So Bitcoin here today, this is on the hourly chart. As you can see earlier, a push up to these recent local highs, 15th of Feb, that was the date, pushed up into this territory, and then a swift rejection. That actually came in around the US market opens, 2 hourly candles sending us down a good few $1,000 here. So at the bottom, 50,000 and around 700, 800 bucks has been seen. Slight recovery here to 51.5. No need to panic in my humble opinion. We have ETF flows. This data will come in tomorrow around 8 a.m. So this is from Farside. I would bookmark this one as it has some very good data that funnels through live. So if you're here 8 a.m. UK time, that is, this thing should load up and we'll see the data for the 20th of Feb. But what we've had across the board is a bit of a reset on the old open interest. So a lot of people get a bit over their skis, a bit overly bullish, and start to take on wild amounts of leverage to the long side, typically here in the bullish trend. And as we can see, we've had some liquidations here. So liquidation data currently in for today at around 191 mil of longs being liquidated. This was a huge one here that we had back at the start of January, and that was a total of 591 mil. So not a massive one, but a bit of a funding rate reset across the board. A lot of altcoins as well were getting a bit too over the top. And so we've had a bit of a cull of that exuberance overall. Now, someone joked earlier online that maybe it was the Starknet FDV that caused the market to take a bit of a nosedive here. Currently at $20 billion, but it's down 50% from the high. So earlier, the FDV on Starknet was over 40 billion US from the guys who did not provide anyone a notable airdrop and kept it all for themselves. Very nice indeed. So if we just do this, if we go to settings, currency, and BTC, so changing up our unit of account to Bitcoin here, what we can now see, of course, Bitcoin won't move against Bitcoin. 1 Bitcoin is 1 Bitcoin. If we just do this, and you see the biggest gainers versus BTC. So on a down day, you do get a bit of a signal from the market as to what it's kind of valuing here. You can see kind of file storage and AI making up the bulk of some of these coins that have outperformed. Most things against Bitcoin have had a bit of a pullback. If we go onto the second page as well, if I just keep scrolling, you'll see some more of those gainers, big green numbers against BTC. So always interesting to see when we do have a correction, what fares well in Bitcoin terms. As most things, when Bitcoin corrects, especially at this early stage of a bull market, you're going to see coins generally lose ground in Satoshis, but these outperformers are usually some good signal. Meanwhile, over at Tether, we have another billion US printed and ready to be deployed. So as you can see, we have stablecoin flows coming in. We also have the stablecoin market cap now above $138 billion. So again, if you're new to the markets here and you've been worried about a slight correction today, it really is just par for the course, and we're going to go a lot higher during this bull market. So just chill out, enjoy your spot positions for the long run. We have Ethena. This one has been doing the rounds today and last night. So enabling the internet bond, essentially you can stake your liquid staking tokens with them and receive their dollar, which is called SUSDE, once you stake the dollar, and get 27% APY, which gives me a little bit of PTSD. We can see it's backed by the likes of Arthur Hayes, Dragonfly Capital, Binance Ventures, a load of people in DeFi. So is it safe? So we have this. So what the heck does it do? Athena's synthetic dollar, EUSD, will provide the first censorship-resistant, scalable, and stable crypto native solution for money. It does this by delta hedging staked Ethereum collateral. So it says, EUSD peg stability is ensured through the use of delta hedging derivatives positions against protocol held collateral alongside a mint and redeem arbitrage mechanism. The internet bond will combine yield derived from the staked Ethereum as well as the funding and basis spread from perpetual and futures markets to create the first on-chain crypto native bond that can function as a dollar denominated savings instrument for users in permitted jurisdictions. So, TLDR, backed by all the biggest exchanges and influencers, airdrop campaign is out now. So go and park some TVL on there and you can get some points for the token airdrop. That is the kind of message. Currently, the LP positions are maxed out. So holding USDE is the only shot at the airdrop. Yield comes mainly from funding rate, so it'll do great in a bull, not in a bear. And given the current bull euphoria, the APY will be tasty. Think Luna though. More interested in future token as the airdrop seems geared towards insiders. Then we have a bit of pushback here from Matt over at Tapioca. He says, I'm sorry, Ethena is an obvious nuclear bomb with the fuse lit, but hey, 26% APY. You are not the yield. Don't worry, there's points too. So yeah, he says, look, if there's a massive slashing event and a depeg, meanwhile, just very thin amount of staked ETH on-chain liquidity and perp funding rate goes negative simultaneously, you have shit hitting the fan essentially. But their kind of response to things, if you see some of the responses online, yep, we have 1 mil in insurance funding. So I don't really know where I stand on this one. I haven't done a deep dive, so I don't really understand it too well. But it does seem that all these like derivatives of ETH staking seem to be adding additional layers of leverage and doing things that are probably going to lead to some massive unwind at some point at a later date. So when you're looking for the reason why the bull market will eventually end and while we'll have history repeating itself and things going parabolically down, I think you can kind of see how some of these house of cards are starting to stack up, especially during a bull market. If everything's going up, you don't really have major problems to tackle, but when everything starts to go down, that's when things can go south quickly. Now this one is from Berachain. So this was released by Infrared Finance. Berachain is going to go live in Q2. If you don't know anything about Berachain, it is going to be super, super cool. They have 3 native baked in DeFi applications to the chain. Think like Team Kujira. Kujira has applications baked into the chain themselves. Over on Bera, they have a DEX, they have perps, and they have a lending market where you can take out the stablecoin of the ecosystem, which is called Honey. Now, if we just go down here, proof of liquidity is the system under which this will thrive. So you have to provide liquidity to those 3 core primitives in order to actually receive the governance token of the network, which is called BGT, Berachain Governance Token. So this flips the likes of proof of stake on its head. Proof of stake has quite a lot of inefficiencies, and you get basic token ownership, as this says, dictating someone's influence, which isn't very fair. You get a lot of rich getting richer, that kind of thing. But it says a key to Berachain's design is the separation of the governance token and the network's gas token. So you have to provide liquidity to receive BGT. So this is kind of like your proof of work or your proof of liquidity, as they call it. You provide liquidity to the system, it gives you back BGT rewards. Then the BGT rewards can be burned one way into Bera, which will be the more tradable token on the network. So the token economics are pretty damn cool, and this thing will be super, super liquid. I mean, the chain will have a lot of liquidity on there as they have a huge community. And as you can see, everyone has to supply liquidity to earn BGT, which is what everyone's going to come and do. Now, this team here, Infrared Finance, are going to make a liquid staking derivative of BGT called iBGT. There's also going to be SiBGT, so a 2-token model. So why would you want the liquid staking version? So you can use this across DeFi on the Berachain eco to receive yield from outside of BGT. So this will be yields based on maybe DEXs, lending markets, that kind of stuff, by providing it as LP. So that is why people would use the iBGT side. And then the staked version of this will actually capture the BGT yields and any bribes associated with the network as well. So this would mean that this would have the greatest overall boosted BGT yields, as obviously when you have these kind of split tokens, anyone who moves over to IBGT, their rewards are all going to SIBGT. So this would mean SIBGT essentially will act as a kind of boosted version of the BGT rewards. So this means this is going to be, the best yield on the market. So worth thinking about going into the new Berachain world that will become apparent in Q2 of this year. Things seem to be shaping up over there. If you haven't got a clue about Berachain whatsoever, currently you probably can still farm for the airdrop. I mean, the testnet is a little bit janky at this moment as well. There's so many people on there, but there is a video coming out on the Blockmates channel that I've done, a deep dive explainer of Berachain, which should be released in like the next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that and make sure you do subscribe to Blockmates as well. Then today we have some nice fundamentals for Kujira. Kujira looking pretty solid here. If we just pull this out to the 3-month chart, maybe we'll come to the end of this chop, or at least come and retest the top of the range here. So overall chart really looks healthy there. If I just pull this down a little bit, you can see not a bad kind of pattern there. Tested the lows a couple of times, and Kuji is going up here. A few larger wallets that I track had been selling. They have stopped selling and price has started to go up again. So hopefully their tokens are with more diamond-handed holders now. Seen this earlier, a one-pager from House of Chimera going through the Kujira ecosystem. So some of the highlights here: 140 mil in TVL on Kuji, 66 million plus tokens are staked. We have building on Kujira, shout out to the likes of Unstaked, Fusion, Plasma, Calc, and Eris. And if you want to know what Kujira is, they've got all the highlights in here. So this is doing pretty well. Just behind my head, it's done around 5,000 impressions currently today. They also got a bit of a shout on Crypto Banter earlier as well. Now this one came out and Esker's posted this. Look, Keiko is coming on Kujira. And what is Keiko? Well, essentially, it's going to have all the tools wrapped into one for someone to come and deploy to Kujira's chain. Creation of a token, creation then of a pilot sale, setting up the Fin pair contract, and then setting up a bull pool as well so liquidity can be added. So this is going to mean more people can easily build on top of Kujira. So again, this is bullish. If we just go on to the next page here, we have AI coins. Market cap of AI coins is only $15 billion. Sam Altman has requested between $5 and $7 trillion personally to create chips for his large language model and others. So this market cap here doesn't make any sense. And during this market cycle will go a lot higher. I'm not sure how high. I'm not even sure how you even kind of put price targets on these various coins, but what you can see is Nvidia is like $1.8 trillion market cap, which is almost as much as the whole crypto market cap. Sam Altman's asking for $5 trillion, which is just a stupid absolute number. And so these things that are worth a couple bill here probably going to go a lot higher. So if you haven't got any exposure to AI, you want to get some, as we're probably going to see some crazy numbers. In terms of a decentralized solution, EOS is one that I think will start to do the rounds a bit more. If we just look at this chart here, absolutely bottomed out, sellers totally exhausted here, and it started to mark up with some recent movements in the market, and this is the kind of current trajectory over the last 3 months. Looking a bit more bullish, 200 mil market cap, essentially allowing for you to have decentralized file storage, decentralized video rendering, video streaming, a lot of cool stuff going on with this one. So in terms of the AI picks, I've got Render and some AOs at this moment in time, but looking to just hold on to these for the long run. And I think generally though, if you just throw a dart at most of these in here, if you took a basket of say 2 or 3 and pump some money in, not financial advice, they're going to go up bigly in my humble opinion. Yesterday did cover Squid Router. Give this a go if you're looking to bridge funds in the future, especially over the next few months. If you've got any bridging requirements, come and see if you can do it through this, as I think there will be a big payoff for doing that, as they recently got a 4 mil funding rounds, and yeah, they've got some really big backers, so they're going to drop a token for this thing. I'm almost 99.9% sure on that. And then last but not least, we'll round up on this. And I don't really like doing these things yet, because the problem is if you attract the wrong attention to whatever you're doing. So in the past, I've done a video calling out the likes of Moon Carl, who's a known Also the likes of Paulie, the guy who keeps like just putting up contract addresses and people sending millions of dollars. You attract the wrong attention by doing things that have a negative spin on them. But if you are new to crypto, the people you decide to follow will have a huge impact, especially if you're following them trade for trade, on how well you do at this whole run. So Zach XBT here, give him a follow. And if you can find that he's created a thread on an influencer that you follow, you will want to unfollow them. He's got he's got a perfect track record of finding exactly how these people operate. And yeah, we'll leave it at that, but that is a new name on the list as of today. So you don't want to be exit liquidity for people who don't really give a fuck about you, don't care about your situation or how you do. And at the end of the day, the whole of this game is about taking back control of your own money, using cryptocurrency to protect your own sovereignty, and hopefully on the way making a lot of money from this as well. So always do your own research. And if you are unsure whether someone has your best interest in heart, you should probably just assume they haven't. And especially on YouTube, the majority of people on here would sell their own grandmother to make a quick buck. So do be aware of that. We'll leave it off at that. Just a bit of a warning as to do not follow people blindly in this industry. It will not work out for you very well. That being said, I hope you do enjoy this video. I hope you have a good one. Hopefully Bitcoin can pump here with the Larry Fink TWAP continuing. And we'll see you again in the next one. Peace.